What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a discussion today about my top 5 favourite decks of all time to play. Now, there are a lot of decks that I absolutely love playing, but there are some that just pip those other decks to it. Those ones that if I'm a little bit bored of the meta, or if I want to try and rekindle a certain deck, I like to play around with these decks and see that if I can maybe, you know, give it a bit of a revitalization, a bit of a restart, a reboot and such, and it just all depends on how the meta goes. So coming in probably at number 5, I'd say, it's very difficult to rank these types of decks because, as I said, they all have a key moment in my heart that I enjoy playing them, and there's always been a key moment in my life that has brought me to this level. So the first one is Heretics. Now, Heretics, whichever way you want to say it, have been a long-standing deck that I've loved playing. Now, the speed and aggression of this deck is something that I really enjoy playing with, and it all depends on the type of meta that is running around, and if there's a very heavy back row meta, you know, like how Fire Fists were, how the Artifacts were, in those formats, they were very back row heavy, and it was very difficult for me to really see the understanding why I would want to play that deck and how it would fit in, just because you can get very wrecked by them now. Yes, I know, Heretics can play things like Trapstone, Royal Decree, even though Royal Decree is a little bit too slow because you should be destroying them, OTKing them every single turn that you can, but Trapstone, Giant Wingbeat and Sue all help with these types of things. Now, there are other cards coming out very soon, one notably in Bosch, which is Twin Twister, that can help the deck, but Heretics don't really like to discard cards, so it's a little bit of a difficult one for me, so it probably won't be revitalized just yet. When Dark Matter came out, I absolutely loved that card, and we all know how I felt when Konami decided to nerf my Dream within 2 days of the flaming card being released, and I only had a week to play it, and I couldn't even play it because I was busy that weekend. So yeah, rip me. I'm sure you all remember my deck profile and combo video, and then the Vine, and then the updated deck profile, and then I just kind of really wanted to cry because the deck just wasn't the same anymore. When I first went to my locals in London, when I first moved here, there's a guy called Martin, Beefy, shout out, that he was playing Heretics at the same time as well. And one of the other guys at the Brotherhood, one of the original guys who set it up, Vass, he showed him one of my videos before he even knew who I was, and we're all good mates now, and it was just so funny because when it first clicked that I was that guy, he was just like, oh shit, it's you. So we got off straight away just having a chat about Heretics and all that, and he did very well with them as well, so props to him, so it's really cool. But that's just kind of one of the big things, but why it holds such a key part in my life. I love playing it, and it was like one of the first people that I probably spoke to at the Brotherhood, and just from having that deck and that deck profile, and I was very well known for Heretics as well at one point. I'm pretty sure if you YouTube search me for Heretics or Heretic deck profile, I'm still one of the top searches. So Heretics will always be a key part in my life. Coming in at number 4 is Yang Zings. Now, Yang Zings is one of these decks that when I first saw it, I saw the potential that they had, and I instantly picked it up when I was at my big case opening with my TO. So much fun. I really enjoy playing that deck, and I still do, and I actually think it's one of the sleeper decks of this format. I think it can main a lot of Pendulum hate, and there is 2 main versions of Yang Zings. There's the Pure, where you just run none of the Pendulums, and then there is the Zephrexy Yang Zings, or Zephyr Yang Zings, that focuses on Pendulums, and that deck has topped quite a couple of events recently, so you can see how it's worked because it's such a quick deck and it can churn out so many powerful monsters with resources behind them. It's just a really interesting deck. Now, I was originally going to bring Yang Zings to YCS Lille. That should have happened a couple of weekends ago, but it wasn't meant to be, so I'm still keeping hold of Yang Zings. I don't think it's a deck I'll ever get rid of, to be honest. It's a Synchro mechanic deck, which I love. Synchroing is my favourite mechanic of this game, so it's definitely one I'm going to keep a hold of, and very duly at the number 4 spot. Number 3 is Quick Draw. Quick Draw Synchron is a deck that, again, Synchro, I really love. And when Quasar was released for us, I think it was like 2 years later, I had a max rarity Lavarvel deck, and just when we got Rekindling hit, it just kind of broke me. I was like, well, there goes all those Quasar combos. So I was like, what deck can I build with Quasar? And Quick Draw came to mind. Now, there's a guy called Speedy2448, I think his original name was. Now he's Synchro Extremist. Make sure to go check him out. He was kind of a inspiration for me for the Quick Draw deck. And It's something that I've kind of learnt a lot from him. I learnt a lot of the combos and just the information about the deck, and now I feel really comfortable about it. I can run with it, and it's just such a fun deck to play. Now there's always more support coming out. I think it's a Reject Reborn that's coming out very, very soon in the next set that allows you to special summon a tuner and a synchro from your graveyard, and it ends their battle phase. So this is one that I'm definitely going to be looking into very soon. The complexity of that deck and the constant having to think about it is something that I really love. I don't really like autopilot decks as such, simply because I like to have a bit of fun. And while my first spot, you might say, could be a autopilot deck, it's really not. But we'll get into that in a bit. It's just such a fun deck to play with, and I have had a bit of success with it as well, so I'm going to be looking into it in the very near future because I feel like it's a pretty good deck for this current meta. Although Rota and Mathematician did get hit, which was quite painful. But with Twin Twister coming out, does help with that Mathman hit. Coming in at number 2 is Skull Servant. Now, this one might not be a surprise for you guys because, you know, you always see me playing Skull Servants, and it's just such a fun deck. The most recent tournament I brought it to was Nationals 2015, and I think I can't remember what I placed, but I went X3, I think it was, over X3 or X4, either way. It was just, stayed till the end and played all the matches, because it was just a lot of fun for me, and you know, I'm not obviously going to do that well with Skull Servant, but people were very surprised at how well I actually did do. One of the best memories I have from that event with that deck was going up against a Kleefort player. This is when they were at max power, and I won game 1 just by beating him down. Game 2, he went first. He set 2 back row, had a scout, had a sacrifice equipped to a Helix, I do believe, and he had 3 cards in hand or something like that. I had not that great much of a hand, but I did have an MST, and I set a Skull Servant, the vanilla Skull Servant, and 1 extra card. This is where it gets interesting. I'm going to leave it there for a second. He went his turn. He activated Scout's effect. I didn't MST. I said, that is fine. When he added the card, in his turn, I was like, I'm really, really sorry. I turned over the Crush Card Virus and tributed my Skull Servant. His face, his reaction was absolutely hilarious, and the funniest and kind of horrible thing was, he was a subscriber of mine. I don't know if he is now because he probably rage quit, but he took it really well. But I hit out of his hand, I think it was a disc, a stealth, a carrier, and something else. I just obliterated his hands. Now, yes, he did get the search off the sacrifice, but I was like, do you want to send anything to your grave? He was like, no, which is just really fun, and it was a really fun duel. But then I drew the Uni Zombie and just went nuts. And then his next turn, he was just so shaken up, he forgot about his scout, and then he ended his turn, and I was just looking at him like, draw? And he was just like, damn it, my scout! So it was really, really funny, and then when he actually did try and use it, I MST'd it, and he was just like, fuck this game. But there was a lot of fun. It was really good fun, and that's why I just love that deck. It's a really underrated deck, and when I play people with it who don't know how it works, or they're just, you know, kind of push it to one side, oh, it's Skull Servant, you don't really hear about it that much, you're in for a shock, because it can actually put up a lot of firepower, and with Lady and with King of Skull Servant, with Uni Zombie, they're very, very powerful cards right there. And then coming in at number 1 spot, the one deck that I love playing, the one deck that will never leave my side, you guessed it, it is Herald of Perfection / Herald of Ultimateness. Now, the Herald deck is just something that I've always loved. It's surprisingly wasn't one of my first videos that I ever put up on the channel, the deck profiles. The first deck profile was a Hero Gate, I think it was, deck profile that I was really enjoying playing at the time, but Herald was something that I kept at the side and then decided to pick it up more and more and more. And I played it a lot in the Dragon Ruler format because I had 3 Vanity's Emptiness, and that really hurt a lot of decks, simply because they could go to banish, they could do stuff, and I'd just be like, okay, let's go, Vanities, you can't get over my Herald, and I would discard cards from my hand, and it wouldn't trigger Vanity's effect because it needs to be from field or deck. With Herald of Ultimateness coming out, it was a really, really surprising thing. I didn't think I'd be playing it because I knew it was good, but 12 stars was a lot, and the ritual spell isn't actually that good. Sure, it has built-in protection that they can't respond to it, but it's a lot trying to get rid of 12 stars from your hand and field. Overall, that deck is just something that will always be key in my heart, and I just love it, and I'll always try and think of combos for it depending on what cards come out. And now with the new Fairy Pendulum, I'm definitely going to be looking into it a little bit more just to see if I can somehow work it in. But that is my top 5 favourite decks to play overall. I want to know what everyone else's top 5 favourite decks to play. It could be meta, it could be not meta, it could be just old school or whatever. It can be absolutely anything. So as I said, let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.